Hey, and we are live. Look at that, Zach mean mugging on the screen there. That's awesome. Welcome everybody to episode 38 of Gunpla Talk. My name is Tim, the one and only child of Mecca, one of your amazing co-hosts. We got a light little group here today. We've got some last minute absences. So we're going to talk about that here momentarily, but we have an amazing special guest with us this month, Mr. Aaron Simmons. He is the 2018 Australia GBWC champion. So he's going to be going to Japan here later in the year. So we're going to talk with him in just a little bit about his GBWC experiences, how he got into modeling, inspiration, all that good stuff. We're also going to talk to Zach a little bit. Zach not only is going to be obviously, you know, one of our amazing co-hosts, but he's also kind of maybe kind of like a guest today, because we're going to talk to him about his GBWC experiences as well.
Sure.
He joined GBWC Korea for the first time, popped his cherry on GBWC here recently. So we're going to talk to him about that as well. We're going to cover some news, what each one of us is working on. Then we're going to talk to Aaron for a good long bit here today. So we've got some absences like you've seen. Josh is unfortunately not going to be with us today because he is moving today. He found that out at the last minute. So unfortunately, he won't be joining us. Simon's going to be late. He's got some family business to take care of. And then also Justin's not going to be with us. He got called into work on a Saturday. So if you've ever seen Office Space, Lundberg called him and he's like, "Can you work Saturday?" So yeah, it's one of those situations. Sometimes, man, real life gets in the way, right? So it's just me and Zach and Simon today, or me, Zach, and Aaron today. Sorry, Simon.
Cool.
Tongue-tied there.
First time.
Yeah, I know, right? Having a two first name, man. I can imagine that is a bit challenging as well. So, all right. So let's meet everybody, the three of us, right? Let's start off with Zach. Zach, introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm ZakuAurelius, looking very sickly or pale or something. I just shaved before coming on this. I don't know, I look kind of sick or something, but I'm okay. I actually was sick earlier in the week, but feeling better now, and busy, but yeah, feeling good after GBWC, despite not coming out with any trophies, but we'll talk more about that later on. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you had a good time, right?
Yes. I don't know.
Wow.
We'll talk about it more later, but yeah, of course, it's a good time. It wasn't like the best day of my life, but yeah, it was fine. It was just
fair enough. I'm sure we'll hear about it. You
gotta sell it. You gotta sell it, Zach. Come on, sell it.
Honestly,
yeah, right.
Honestly, I just don't really like going to Seoul, like in general, even if it's for GBWC. So that kind of puts a damper on anything. So even though like I was there
Sydney,
for a fun event. Yeah, I think next year that's probably going to be better.
Yeah, it's a bit at my house.
Cool.
Awesome.
I hope so. I'd love to go there, and it's a little bit closer for me than it is for Tim and everybody there in the US. But
oh my god, yeah,
still a bit of a travel, bit of a trip there.
Yeah, a little bit. 24-hour flight to Sydney from Baltimore, where I am. So yeah, straight 24 hours. That's rough. Yeah. And it's also like $5,000 to get down there with hotel and all that. Trust me, I've priced this out because I so desperately want to get down there. But yeah, it's so expensive. So, but all right, thank you, Zach. Let's meet our awesome special guest, our good friend, Mr. Aaron Simmons. Aaron, introduce yourself to everybody, man.
Hello. Aaron Simmons, although online I'm mainly weathered as. So most of my profiles are under weathered as, but no, this is me. And I was very lucky enough to win the Australian leg of GBWC this year. It's the third time I've competed. So I was really really happy to win. Really, really rewarding. And that have competed and compete in it, we all know how much work we put into that that one model for that one competition. So yeah, it was really awesome. Really, really feel privileged to have won.
That's awesome, dude.
Very
Well,
cool.
congratulations. I can't say it enough. And we're going to talk about that experience and kind of the model that you created, the Hammer. And we're going to just get into all that good stuff here. But first and foremost, let's talk about what each one of us is working on real quick right now. For me, if you're not keeping up with me on the social medias or my live streams or anything, I am working on a master grade Jesta, doing kind of an out of box, if you will, and just really kind of detailing it up, making it look good, making it kind of the way that I want it to look, but trying to keep the details minimal. So doing some scribing, doing a little bit of plastic work on it, but not changing up, anything, shape wise, let's put it that way. Customize the weapon a little bit with some scratch building, but man, I just think that's just added detail. So that's what I'm working on. So catch it on the live streams if you want to. Zach, what are you working on right now, man? I know you just came off the GBWC entry, but are you working on anything else?
Well, yeah, it's straight on to everything else. I've always got plenty of things going on because I've kind of build ADD, so I'm always switching between everything. Painting stuff is really just kind of the same stuff that I've been working on. I've started working on the detailing on the Perfect Grade Strike. There's nothing really that I can really show because it's still all in pieces just because of how I need to do it. I really can't be bothered with masking the chrome pistons and everything, so I'm just not putting anything together till it's all done, and then I'll put it all back together.
Nice.
So, yeah, I can't really show too much of that at the moment, but this time, well, in our next month's episode, maybe. Well, I'm planning, it's a commission, so I got to ship it out like as soon as it's done, ideally,
Nice.
since I've been waiting for it for a long time. So if I can, I'll show you. If not, we'll take a look at some pictures or something. But otherwise, what I'm working on, which is just something that I'm just snapping at the moment, but it's still pretty interesting because it's the high-res wing Gundam.
Oh, nice.
Picked this up when I was up in Seoul. It was one of the things that they gave us for entering GBWC. They gave all the contestants a like 20% coupon at the Gundam base there in Seoul. So stopped by there and was thinking about like what to get. It's like 20% off anything. So I thought, well, might as well get something expensive and save a good amount of money.
That's awesome.
And Adam at USA Gundam Store sponsored this review too. So shout out to them. Very awesome. The thing about it though is you'll notice it's got a little bit of stanky leg going on.
Stanky.
Like when you open up the manual for this kit, the first thing they have you do, because I don't know if you guys know the inner frame comes pre-built.
Right.
The first thing they have you do is it shows you how to like bend the frame around to kind of loosen it up. And yeah, while I was rotating the leg, both of the hips, I snapped like the ring part of that makes the leg bend up and down.
Oh, man,
Really?
So, yeah, so that sucks. I don't know if that part has a screw in it. I don't know if the screw was just too tight. Like it wasn't really that tight though, so I think it's just a weak part of the kit. So I was wondering if anyone else had really had that problem, but I know it's not a kit that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like a really big seller. So I'm gonna try to fix that. It shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully that part, I'll just take it apart and just glue that ring part back together, and it'll be probably still pretty fragile, but either that or just glue the whole joint.
Use an epoxy or something. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really too worried about it. Just because I'll ultimately, whenever I like paint it, I'll just have it just fixed pose anyway, so it'll just be stood there, whatever. But it's an interesting build. It's an interesting experience. Not really sure if it's really worth the price, just because of it's being very expensive, and a lot of that thing just goes into just stuff that's not really necessary. I think if they would have made this as a Master Grade 2.0, it'd have been half the price and much better kit probably.
Right.
It's a really cool design. I think it's a really cool take on the wing. Zero custom, but yeah, like the die cast parts, not really necessary. Like chrome or like the gold plated runner is just a really small one, but there's some of that, and like high gloss plastic and all that kind of stuff that adds to the cost. It's just kind of like something I don't really care about. It feels like you're building a metal build kit, basically.
Okay.
So if you're, I think I wish that Bandai would have either gone one way or the other, made it just made it a metal build release, or just made it a Master Grade 2.0. And that was pretty much what I was expecting and why I'd held off on the line for so long. But yeah, now that I've built it, I can confirm that's pretty much exactly right on. So anyway, I'll, of course, for anyone listening who's interested in hearing and seeing more about that, I'll have my full review up in about a week or so, maybe. So you'll see that. Also, just want to say, it's not something that I'm physically working on, but in terms of a video that I'm working on, just yesterday I interviewed another Australian down there. I interviewed Kieran Han.
Oh, nice.
So that interview will be up in a few days. I just found that interesting, Aaron, that you said that this was your third year entering GBWC, and it's the same thing for Kieran too. He's just entered 3 years now.
Yeah, well, I actually only, I mean, I've only really been into Gunpla as a modeling medium for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I kind of got into it, and my second kit I ever built was what I entered the first year in my first GBWC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
very similar to him.
Yeah. Although he's got me on the trophy count, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's done pretty well. But no, it was a cool interview. So that'll be up in a few days. So you can check that
Very
out.
cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Zach. And Aaron, what are you working on, man? I know you're working on this amazing tank kind of diorama. Tell us a little bit about what you got going.
Yeah, look, I always do a bit of a palette cleanser after GBWC, something non-Gunpla, just something back to good old modeling, back what I grew up doing as a kid and things. And I think it's good to sort of get your mojo back for Gunpla and for mech in general. When you work on something for like 6 months, you kind of need a break, I think. So yeah, I've been working on my tank. I've actually got it here. I'll try not to move the camera too much.
Okay.
But you can sort of see it now. I'm not sure what you can see. It's
Nice.
not finished yet. But yeah, I've been working on just sort of getting the dio in place and sort of setting a few things around in there. But yeah, it's coming along.
It looks really good, man.
Yeah. It does look really nice.
It's it's been a long time since I've done armor, actually. So
Right.
surprising, I went back to it. You know, it's probably been 10 years since I've built any armor kit at all.
Oh, wow.
And because I've mainly been building, prior to not doing Gunpla, I've mainly been building aircraft. So it's amazing in the 10 years since I've done any kind of armor, how incredible these kits are now. Like that's my first ever TACM kit, and it's perfect. Like there's no problem with it at all. It just falls together. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I've got going at the moment. Got a couple other things ready to go as well after that. I've got a nice MiG-31 that I'm going to build for Hobbyco. So I'll do that next. And then I'll probably think about get my mojo going again with some Gunpla, and I might even actually start thinking about my entry for next year.
Oh, nice.
Because we had it pretty early this year, right? So I mean, for me, it was a good month and a half ago now. So you know, in a couple of months' time, it's sort of you got to start thinking about what you want to start building and getting ideas going. And as much as that seems bizarre to me, I'll probably start my entry before I actually go to Japan for this year. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time between the GBWC finals and then your Australia GBWC next year. So just a few months, really. So
yeah, well, I mean, it was early this year. Like usually we have it at the end of August, but this year it was middle of July. So
oh yeah,
they really brought it forward. So
yeah,
you know, if it ends up being July next year, yeah, that's only like 7 months or so. So you got to get going, you know.
Yeah, definitely not enough time for a GBWC level build there, you know?
Yeah.
I think going over to Japan with an idea, at least of kind of like starting on what you want to do for next year, would be a good chance to just kind of chat with the people there about your idea, bounce some ideas
Yeah.
off them and everything. It'd be a good opportunity.
I don't know what you guys are like. If you're anything like me, though, every idea I ever have for any type of model I want to do, I've got a big list of them, big book of all these crazy ideas that pop in my head. But I was actually thinking this year, because I get to go there, I might sort of wait for some inspiration while I'm over there, see if something kind of jumps out at me, and something that, because I'm going to be exposed to things I normally wouldn't be. So I sort of thought, something might kind of pique my interest over there, and might get, a moment where I sort of think, yeah, this is cool. And
Is that
see
going
how
to be
we go.
your
I haven't
first?
got.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right, Zach. Go.
I was just going to say, is that going to be your first time in Japan?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. It was the same for you, Tim, right? That was your
Yeah,
first
man.
time?
So much fun. You're gonna have a ball,
Wow.
dude.
Yeah. Really happy for you
Yeah,
guys.
everyone tells me that. They never tell me what we're going to do over there. They just tell me you're going to have fun. So
Oh, well, we can talk about that. I'll give you the rundown because the one day that Bandai sets aside for the ceremony and everything, man, it's constant go, 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 go from 8 in the morning to 10 at night.
wow.
And everything is scheduled, everything is timed from beginning to end. And man, it's a work of precision. Let's put it that way. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Aaron, for bringing us in on what you're working on right now. Real quick before we get into more conversation, let's talk about something that we're doing here on Gunpla Talk, the Gunpla Talk fundraiser. Real quick, guys, I want to let you guys know about that. Well, on last stream, we talked with Adam Ryan from USA Gundam Store, and what we're basically doing is doing a fundraiser and a giveaway for the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. And we're doing it through GoFundMe, and one lucky donor is going to win a perfect grade Astray red frame. I've shown it before. I showed it on last frame. It's actually in the other room, or else I'd show it right now. But one lucky donor will win that very model. Everybody's open. This is open to everyone around the world, unfortunately, except for Singapore, because there's a weird restriction with GoFundMe in Singapore. I don't know why. So Singaporeans, very sorry about that. But one lucky donor will win that very model, and we'll ship it to you, the whole 9 yards. So no minimum no minimum donation or anything. Whoever donates gets entered, and then at the end of the campaign, we're going to pull one lucky winner from those list of donors. And bless you there, Zach.
Sorry.
You all right, man?
Yeah. Good.
Jeez, feel bad for Zach, man. He's so under the weather right now.
All right, allergies. Go ahead.
But yeah, so one lucky winner is going to win that amazing model. All the money is going to go to a really great charity, and man, it just makes you feel good donating something to charity and knowing that your money that you donate is going to a good cause. So please hit up GoFundMe.com/Gunpla Talk. If for some reason you can't find it, hit us up on the Gunpla Talk Facebook page. I know we've shared it on our various pages and things. I've talked a lot about it pretty much every stream since we started it. So definitely go hit that up. Donate as much as you can. If for some reason that you're not in the position to donate, do us a favor, give us a share. Share us to your favorite fan page, or maybe your Instagram account. Maybe make a video on YouTube or something. Share us to your favorite Facebook group or something like that. So it's for a good cause. The more word we can get out on it, the more money we can raise for alopecia, and just make the world a better place, guys. So definitely donate and do something good. So, all right. Off the soapbox. Let's go and let's get up with Zach. Let's talk about some news. Zach, what's in the news? What's in Gunpla news?
Just real quick, just to tag on the end of that, I'll
Oh,
throw the
sure.
link down in the information on this video as well in the description. So the link will be there as well if you guys have any trouble finding it. Those of you watching this live or later.
Awesome.
A couple of things just too. I also want to mention just on the top events. Anyway, my Gunpla contest, it has just a few days left of that. I think it's today's the 25th, so it's just till September 1st. So any of you guys who are still working on that, just a reminder that you have just a few days left for that as well. And also, I just wanted to mention, just because I feel like I should probably mention this every few months, is that I do have my Tokyo Gunpla guide, since we're on the topic of Tokyo. Just in case anyone's watching who maybe is relatively new to my channel and didn't know about that. I put together this full-on guide for Gunpla fans visiting Tokyo of all the shops and everything, all information on that. You can get that on USA Gundam Store's page.
Very detailed.
Thank you. Hopefully it'll be useful for you. I don't know how much time you're going to have to really go around, but
I'm tacking a few days on, so.
Oh, nice.
Good,
That's
good,
the way
good.
to do it. And what's the price on that, Zach?
Free. Or
we
you can
go.
choose to pay $5 if you want. It's exactly the same guide. It's just up to you whether you are feeling generous or whether you just want to just take it for free. It doesn't really matter. So do whatever you will. So that was also made possible by USA Gundam Store. So thank you to them for that
Very
as
cool.
well. And on to the news, shall we? Yes. For the past couple of weeks, while I've been working on GBWC entry, I was watching a lot of Beast Wars. I was rewatching the Beast Wars series. I don't know if you guys ever watched that.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that series, and every few years I'll like rewatch that. It's so good. So anyway, that's the. If you ever watched it, you know what the yes is Megatron's catchphrase from the series. Anyway. So here is some of the news. There was a fair amount of stuff and like some really cool stuff announced in the past week or so. This is not really particularly new, but we're seeing this in like a full color like model of the narrative Gundam with its mobile armor here. I'm really wanting to like this because it seems cool, but I'm just really not digging like the shapes on this. Very odd.
What's the scale, Zach?
This is the HG 144. Yeah, I don't know. It looks really weird. I think this will be really good for kit bashing material.
Yeah, definitely.
Just taking this apart and reworking it. I already see like how I think it could be much better than what it is now. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the, like you said, some of the shapes are really good, like the boosters and stuff, but altogether it just seems a bit mishmash.
I don't know. So the Gundam itself too, I'm kind of not really into. It's
yeah,
kind of. It reminds me a lot of like the bear parts, like the bear frame. Kind of remind me a lot of the G Savior, and that's not a good taste in your mouth. Anything
like
that reminds you of
round,
G Savior,
right?
The round things on the shoulders. Don't really like those.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting detail here and there, but I don't know. I'm just not really particularly into it. And I don't know if it's going to maybe have different forms or something. Apparently, it's going to be just one single movie. We didn't really know what exactly it was going to like, how they were going to be releasing it as a series,
Okay.
or whatever. But I think it's been confirmed that it's just going to be a single movie.
Okay.
So I don't know. Fingers crossed that it's going to be good, but I'm not really too into this mobile armor, to be honest. Kind of odd.
Yeah, that's definitely kit bash fodder.
Yeah. And let's see if I'll close there. This is not a kit, but this is really cool. When I first saw this, I'm like, my heart skipped a beat because I thought this was coming out as an HG. But
we would be so lucky, man.
I know. I just started actually putting together the HG wound wart, which is also very cool. So I thought that that's what this was, like another like variant of that. But anyway, this is inlay, different variation. Anyway, it's a Mobile Suit Ensemble series. I haven't bought any of these. I don't really care for them too much. I don't really like the figures that have hard points all over the place. It kind of really distracts from the look of the design, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of makes them ugly. If this was like a Converge figure or something like that, that'd be really awesome. But Can't really get into the ensemble designs, but hey, just the fact that this is getting made, anything Advanced Zeta is good. Hopefully it sells well and they'll continue to make more Advanced Zeta stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right. So anyone who does think this looks cool and is interested in game this, please buy one. Even though it's pretty expensive, it's like $160. So
Oh my god.
it's a P Bandai item too. So I think like the dandelion, I think it was the Woundwort with the dandelion, which is basically kind of like what the lower part of this is. I think that was like around 100. So
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Are they solid or are they like plastic? They're like models almost, like hollow. Do you know?
They're movable, like action figure, like candy toys.
Ah, okay.
So
That explains it.
kind of like what was that called? Assault Kingdom? Kind of like the
Okay.
Assault Kingdom line, if you ever saw any of those.
So they're probably like a mix between solid parts and then hollow parts, probably.
Yeah, here you can see. I'd say I don't know exactly what the material is, but PVC.
Yeah, that's
I'd
probably.
imagine.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff, but yeah, I'm not really. I prefer the proportions of Converge.
Yeah.
And like less ugly hard points everywhere.
Yeah, totally agree.
This was just shown today, so this is some stuff. C3 just started today, so we've got some. That's where like a lot of the stuff is being shown at. So this is a new P Bandai Cubile.
Yes, the
Cubile
damned.
Big.
That's awesome.
It's basically a like different take. It's a little bit different from the version that Naoki made for Gundam Hobby Life a few years ago. You guys saw that?
I never saw that, no, but this is looking pretty damn cool.
Love the torso. The torso on it is cool.
Yeah, I know. I just noticed that.
Here you go.
Oh, that one.
So it's a little bit different, but it's obviously taking like some similar aspects of like the high heels, the different shape of the feet, and the huge hands like that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Some details have been changed, but it's essentially just a mass production, like full kit release of the custom that he built.
The
Really
hands look really intricate, actually.
Yeah.
Like a lot of parts to them, not just a single mold.
Yeah, we'll have to see when they come out. I'd imagine that's probably a little bit. What do I say? Bandai's just trying to trick you with that. I imagine they're probably not as complex as they look.
Because it almost looks like each part of the finger has got like armor on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. Haven't quite decided if it's something that I think I really want to build or not, but I do like the Cubile. The huge hands are, I don't know, interesting. I don't know if I can really get into it. What I really do like is this change in the shoulder armor.
Yeah.
There, like the kind of the circular like vent things, how it's changed this more interesting detail there. I think that's really cool.
I like the skirt, the front skirt and the torso. It's it's cool.
So it's pretty interesting. This one is Robot Damashi, but I just thought this was interesting how much love the Nightingale is getting. It's a design that existed for years and we didn't really have anything. And then after the REs come out, we've had like the Next Edge figure, and now we have the new SD of it out, and now Robot Damashi. It's been getting a lot of love over the past just couple of years.
I guess it showed Bandai that the Nightingale's more popular than they thought.
Yeah, I guess so. Could be. I was kind of concerned when they kicked off the RE line with that, because I thought, well, I'm starting off a new line with something that's not really very like consumable.
Practical.
You know what I mean? Yeah. With something that big and expensive, it's not something that a lot of people are going to be rushing out to get.
Yeah,
it's a cool design,
man.
I guess so.
Yeah,
we've definitely seen plenty at GBWCs across the world. It has been a favorite.
Yeah. Have you built it?
Not the RE, but the SD, the new SD, yes. But the RE, no, I have not.
I haven't built it either. I'd like to, but
looks interesting.
That'd be another 4-year project for me.
Yeah.
I look at it and just see all the scratch building potential in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. The detailing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. The SD is really fun because it's simple and it's like it's still pretty much exactly all there. Because even the design is so weird, shrinking it down into SD scale, I mean, it doesn't really make it any more weird than it already was to start with, you know.
Right.
So I think it translated really well into the SD kit. So I actually really like that a lot. If you wanted something much more smaller and affordable. But anyway, this is the robot Damashi, which does look nice, but of course that's quite expensive. That was
Cool.
also announced today or yesterday. This is really cool. The next RE is going to be something from Victory, which is interesting. It is the Gun Easy. I'm not sure how exactly you're supposed to pronounce that. Gun.
Talk about left field, though. You know.
Gunnies. I also think it's interesting that the RE line was kind of billed as like for larger stuff that they would never make HGs of,
Yeah.
or MGs of. But we had the Vignagina out just recently, which is very small, and then this one out, which is going to also be pretty small.
Yeah.
So
They're great.
the Yakudoga is quite large in between there, but
They're awesome kits, though.
yeah, I like them a lot.
They're so easy to build, but they're at the same time they're really detailed. Like they're a good compromise if you kind of don't want to invest all that time in a normal MG, but still get a really good result. Like they're cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
I agree. Some people don't like that aspect about them, but personally, and I mean, looking at this is actually they really cut back on the details on this. If you look at it, I mean, it is just like a grunt suit. So like it's just kind of similar to like with the Master Grade Jagan out recently was very low on external detail. A lot of people just kind of put that as just because it's a grunt suit and that's anime accurate.
It's like a blank canvas, though, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. That's what I like.
Actually, it's pretty cool. This is cool. It's got a good mix between curve and straight, you know.
Yeah, I really like this design. I think it's going to be a really fun one. But Tim, I was just going to say, have you built the Jagan yet?
No, I haven't even bought it yet. So I'm working one model at a time, you know.
Yes, indeed.
It's definitely on my list of things to get, but that'll be later.
Cool. Yeah, so this was very out of nowhere, but very welcome.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool weapon too. I like that weapon. It's awesome.
The bazooka there. Yeah,
that is
really cool. It's very similar in design of the Vignagina's bazooka, actually. I mean, this is from Victory and the Vignagina being from F91. They're kind of close in the series.
Yeah.
They kind of share a lot of similar elements, but this bazooka is very similar, I think.
Although that vent on the end just looks like they've stuck on a builder's part.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. There was that, and let's see, the SD cross silhouette Phoenix narrative version, and then at C3 today, I don't have any pictures of this at the moment queued up, but at C3 they also have kits shown of just the regular original Banshee with the VN and BS, and then also the regular Unicorn Gundam. So all three unicorns are going to be coming out apparently in the cross silhouette SD line.
Nice.
Yeah, interesting that they went with the narrative version just because narrative's coming out, I suppose, right? But I wonder if it'll have parts in there to just build this. It basically just be like one different part for the shield to make it just the regular Phoenix. If they'll include that in the box, would be cool. I kind of doubt that they will, but
I don't like the plastic though. The gold's not.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the same as like with the HG release. But there is the plated HG kit that's coming out also later on this year. Of that, there's this weird thing, which is like kind of Build Diver's version of the Jim, but definitely not as cool in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Dude, the feet. I just no. I just don't like the feet.
I
Looks
think
like they're missing armor.
Yeah.
You know, this is, I think, a really good example of Bandai seeing what's popular in different things in the community, especially like online, and then like trying to incorporate some of that. And you see them doing that with like different design aspects sometimes. Just things that a lot of like the kind of really high end, like well-known, like almost pro modelers in Japan are doing, like incorporating some of those details in to their designs. And this, I think, is definitely that as well, with like the bars on the knees and on the feet. You don't really see
Yeah.
that so often with like Gundam kits, but
Mhm.
I mean, if you like follow a lot of Japanese modelers on Twitter, you see that a lot of the modelers who will do like the weirdly weird, like interesting kit bash stuff, where they just like build a kit like out of just scrap parts entirely. You know what I mean? Those kind of builds.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
That
I reckon
is
the feet look like Titanfall or something.
Yeah, you're right.
something like that as well. Interesting, but definitely not as cool as the Jim in my opinion.
You know what? It just hit me. This more looks like that kind of exosuit from that anime Mospita. Is that how you say it? I don't know. The one where they turn into like motorcycles or something. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about. They made that in a Robotech here in the States. So
Turn
you
into
guys,
motorcycles?
yeah. What is it, Chad? Help me out here. Mospita.
I don't know. Doesn't ring a bell.
I lost you. Oh well. Moving on.
I don't know that one, but I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people. Yeah, someone's saying in the chat must be a. I don't know. I guess that's right, but yeah, I just don't know it. Yeah, everyone's ringing in the chat with that.
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you, Chad. Appreciate the help.
Similar to the Jim though, I'm sure this will be just like a really simple, cheap, good base for just customizing, doing kit bashing and things like that. And people will enjoy that. So cool, but yeah. Moving on, there's still a few things here. This one is the first release from in the Build Divers line. That's from Side Story Manga.
Okay.
Kind of interesting design here. It's almost sort of like a mix of like, I don't know, some parts of it remind me of the Gundam X, and some parts remind me of the Zeta, and it's a very interesting mix of aesthetics. And
I don't like the colors.
Yeah.
The colors. It looks like somebody's had a go at repainting a kit. It's their first time, and they've kind of just gone, oh, I'll do this bit red, and then that bit red, and then this bit red, and then now I've got to have some blue somewhere. And
Yeah.
it looks like a inexperienced color pick.
Yeah, like I know this is supposed to be red and blue, so I'll just get whatever red and blue I have, even though the color it's not quite the right shade of red and blue.
Yeah.
So anyway, the head design, I don't know who the designer was for this, but I would imagine that this was the designer who did the designs for 00. I can't remember his name, but just especially the head really reminds me of that.
The head looks wide. Looks wide, like where the at the eye line. Looks wide.
It looks like these bits on the side on the top flip out too, like the Shining Gundam. Possibly, which would be interesting. You can't really see it there. It looks like maybe in this picture, maybe they're flipped out on the side. You can't really tell. Anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that. Sometimes when I look at it, I think it looks pretty cool. It's very detailed for an HD kit. It's got a lot of panel lines and details on it.
Yeah. It
That's
looks,
cool.
I'm getting like a wing kind of vibe from it, Zeta as well. Just with how the shield is mounted and all.
Like something from was that G Unit?
Yeah, that too. I don't know. It's just the transformation. It looks very simplistic, so that may not necessarily translate from the pictures to real life very well.
Yeah, well, that would be in line with the Wing Gundam anyway. The transformation looks very similar to Wing Gundam.
Yeah.
He's laid down with his legs turned around.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like that you actually have to take that shield off and stick it on his back.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, so yeah, very similar to the Wing Gundam transformation. Looks like actually, it's a good call. I don't know. Interesting. What's the name of it? I hadn't seen Gundam. Yeah, Shining Break. So yeah, I guess the head would be similar to the Shining Gundam there. That makes sense.
Gotcha. Very cool.
The HG DJ is coming out. Yeah. It looks more kind of, I don't know. I guess I would have to take a look back at the like original line art for it, but this looks like it's probably more accurate to the anime than the RE kit was.
Yeah.
Or some people may like.
The head especially, it looks thinner for some reason, you know?
The DJ, though, is not a design I really particularly care too much for personally.
No,
yeah, I'm there with you too.
The bottom of the legs don't seem to flare as much as the RE kit.
Yeah.
I actually really like the legs in general of the DJ. That's the one part of the design that I like. The arms and the legs. The arms remind me a lot of the F2 Zaku. Kind of the shape of that. The other parts, not so much. It was a really, I mean, as an RE kit, it was a really nice kit, and I'm sure this one would be good as well. Bandai's really been killing it with the HGC releases lately. But yeah, and it's coming out just in time. We just recently saw artwork of a different color version of that that's going to be appearing in Gundam Narrative. So I'm sure there's probably going to be a P Bandai Narrative color version of this.
More than likely.
As well. Yeah. It's just like all in gray. It is a much more interesting color scheme. It's much more grounded, not as colorful as this one. So we'll see. But that's coming out. That was also a big surprise along with the new RE. Not a very big surprise is the RG Full Armor Unicorn. That's coming out.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So I wonder, the Sazabi is number 29, and I was contemplating the fact that Bandai might be saving the new Gundam for number 30, just because after the Sazabi, they're going to have to eventually make a RG new Gundam. But it looks like maybe this is going to be number 30, or they're just putting this out there and it's releasing later.
Is it the whole kit though, or is it just all of the extra?
Yeah, it's a full-on kit because it'll be coming with the green. Whereas the regular kit comes with just the regular kind of reddish pink cycle frame. I
mean, because why not, right?
Of course. So it doesn't have a price on this at the moment, but it's probably going to be like 6,000 yen or something. I think the regular unicorn was 3,500, I want to say. Maybe not 6,000, 5,000. Anyway. There's a lot of stuff added in there, of course. Only one Hyper Beam Javelin, unfortunately. So not like I think it's only the MG that did come with two. Even the HG, I think, didn't come with one even at all until the later red Psycho Frame version of that. Anyway, yeah. I wonder how these weapons and everything, all the full armor parts, are going to compare to the HG, actually. Because if they're basically the same, then that's kind of... Well, this is already different. The grenade launcher is separated from the bazooka. I think on the HG, that's all molded together. It's like you can't take the grenade launcher off the bazooka. If I remember correctly. Good
kit bashing potential in those the guns that you're just hovering over now, Zach.
Yeah, the beam Gatling guns.
Yeah, that look cool.
For sure. Yeah. You see those every now and then. You see like kit bash kits or just like where they're taking the beam Gatling guns from the Unicorn and put them on different kits. Like I've seen just loads. The Goof custom or something. All kinds of kits. They always look good. It's a really cool weapon. Just slap that onto the arm of pretty much any kit, and it's good to go. Yeah, it looks cool. It definitely looks like they've also beefed up the size of the fuel tanks compared to the HG, though. They look thicker than the ones on the HG. The HG ones are not quite that thick, I want to say. So it'd be cool. If either of you guys have never built the real grade Unicorn, it is a really, really nice kit, to be sure.
The real grade?
Yeah, the RG.
Very cool.
So that'd be nice. I mean, getting never-ending supply of Unicorn kits. This seems like.
I was thinking the same thing. Great, another Unicorn. That's what we need.
You know they're not done. If you think that Bandai's not going to make a real grade Phoenix and a real grade Banshee, I mean...
Oh, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, come on. You know that's going to happen.
I guess though, when they've built a 1-to-1 scale out the front,
Yeah,
they need to show it some love, right?
Yeah, have to. And the last thing here, I don't think I missed anything. Just a fair amount of stuff. This is just Gundam Converge. Again, not something that maybe everyone cares about, but I enjoy
They
this
are pretty
stuff.
cool.
Yeah,
I
they're cool.
wonder what that black silhouette is.
Yeah, it's the narrative version Stein. I can tell you.
Is it really? Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was joking.
And
I thought it
it's
was
on
just
display at. It's on display.
Oh, there
at
it is.
C3, actually.
Sorry. Gotcha. Well, hey, I'll go for that too. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got the Crossbone 2, narrative Stein, Tuggies 3, Full Armor Gundam, Dom. Like I think all of these have actually been released in converged form before. This is just new versions of all of them, except for the Stein. Pretty sure all of these already have converged figures.
Oh, weird.
The X2, this is the X2 Kai, though. I think the X2 that's already out in converged form is just a regular X2. I want to say I think I have it up on my shelf. Oh no, it is the Kai. But yeah,
Okay.
it is, but it's a little bit different. Anyway, so and the Full Armor Gundam, yeah, I actually have them stood right next to each other on my shelf of converged figures up there. But yeah, it'd be new versions of them. And let me see, just in case anyone's wondering, I think it's like right on the front page of this here. We can see. Oh, maybe there's no picture of it, but Ricardo sent me a picture of that. I haven't seen Ricardo in the chat.
No, he's there. He's probably at the. Well, no, it's late over there. So I was going to say he's not at C3 right now.
Yeah, he may be on his way back and be tired. He's been there all day. So
yeah, taking hundreds of pictures.
Yeah, surely. That's that. Yeah, the other figure is the narrative version of the Shinji Stein. One thing that I did notice of just related to the HD release of that, the HD Stein coming out, is that it's definitely more gray than the Master Grade. The Master Grade's pretty white, right? But the HG is definitely just like a light gray color. Not that it really matters, but I just thought that was interesting when I saw it on display last weekend at GBWC.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue. Let's start talking about GBWC. Let's switch gears and talk to our good friend Aaron here real quick.
Yes.
So, Aaron, you just won Australia GBWC? Probably like what you said a month and a half ago, right?
Yeah, it was middle of July, 15th of July, I think it was. Yeah.
Gotcha. Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, it has now. Like when on the day, it's a pretty big event here in Australia, and you know, the whole community really supports it and comes together. So everyone gets caught up in the whole weekend. To be honest, Sunday we're a little bit more subdued because we're all hungover, but Saturday was a great day. You know, I mean, aside from winning, obviously, but it's just great fun. Just cool to catch up with everyone. We all hang out and just take the piss out of each other all day and have a good laugh, and so it's pretty cool. But no, I mean, it took sort of a few hours to sink in, and then I started thinking, oh yeah, I get to go, and all the other bits you sort of think about afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Josh online a couple of days after it, and he was sort of mentioning about some of the other kits, and he was like, yeah, cool, man, you get to see them. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I do. I get to see all the other winners this year. That's cool. I get to see them up close, So there's all these little things that you kind of don't think about immediately. But now that some of the winners are starting to roll in, you see them on Instagram and whatnot, the ones that are actually you can find. And it's like, cool. I can't wait to see that in the flesh.
Have you started thinking about your chances yet, like comparing yours to other winners?
Man, look, to be honest, every Australian winner that I've spoken to sort of has said the same thing in kind of different ways, but it's like every year it's a field, like they get over there, and what was in vogue last year is not what's in vogue this year, and it's just it's really hard to kind of pick it. What are they going for this year? What are Bandai sort of setting up for the comp? But yeah, look, for me, I honestly, I truly am just really stoked to win, and I feel really lucky. And you know, I'm just can't wait to get over there and be part of it.
Mm.
That's awesome.
Placing or winning is just whatever. I'm not really giving it much thought, to be honest. The only thing I am thinking about is how the hell I'm going to get my kid over there. That's about the only thing I am thinking about.
Yeah, that is always going to be the tough part. Is transferring the kit, you know, however many hundreds of miles it is for you to go to Tokyo on a plane and everything. So
Yeah, it's stressful.
yeah. How big is the Hammer, by the way?
He's 49.3 centimeters tall.
Wow.
So
Wow. So you're right there at the limit.
yeah, he's big, but it does come apart. And I sort of made it come apart, and I could transport it in a case, but that case is too big for hand luggage. So I've had to sort of rethink things, and I've bought 2 smaller cases. So I'll take one, my wife will take the other.
Oh, there you go. So you're going with the Wi-Fi then, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm pretty lucky. My mum doesn't live too far from here, so she's coming down babysitting my kids for the week, and
Nice.
wife and I get a kid-free trip to Japan. Very nice.
Wow.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it is.
There's nothing quite like going to the Japan with for the first time with somebody that you're familiar with. Obviously, the wife. That's kind of how I did, you know, in 2016 as well. Me and my wife were able to go spend a few days and all that good stuff. So that's awesome, dude. You're going to be so happy, and you're going to have such a great time. I already know it right now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Cool. Well, here, let's take a look at the Hammer real quick. I've got Aaron's Facebook page pulled up here. So let's get some screen share action going on here. And let's see. Thank you for the screen there, Zach. Get rid of the time warp there. So here, can you guys see that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. So here is the Hammer, the model that Aaron created to win Australia's GBWC. And man, it's just walk us through this here a little bit, Aaron. What went into this? Obviously, you know, the Hammer, but this is the Hammer. So what went into this thing?
Yeah, so there's 2 full Hammer kits in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of camphor in there as well, like the head. If you see the head, that's the shoulder of the master.
Okay.
Amazing.
See if I can get some
There's hose fittings. There's all sorts in there, to be honest. Springs and all sorts of bits and pieces.
There's the head. Okay.
Yeah, if you look at the head there, you can see that that's actually the shoulder.
Oh, nice.
On the camphor. But it obviously not. It doesn't have the exhausts in there. I turn those into sort of 3 eyes. But if you look at the chest, across the chest, that's actually the normal Hammer kit, and they're the 2 chests sort of turn 90 degrees inwards. And you can see at the back there that sort of the tank and thrusters at the back is actually a hose fitting. They're like hose fittings with other bits sort of scratched onto them.
Oh, down here at the bottom here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then there's all sorts of stuff. There's actually at the back of the head. That's actually the skirt off the Sinanju Stein.
Oh wow!
So they're sort of stuck together, and they form the sort of the base of the head. Obviously, the shoulders are off the Hammer kit. I mean, for me, I wanted to make it easily recognizable that it was a Hammer. Hence its name, Sledgehammer. It's like a big hammer, right? But yeah, it was kind of important that you could look at it and immediately see, oh wow, it's all built around a Hammer. Like his arms are actually the legs off the Hammer kit.
Let's see if we can find keep, just basically go through these pictures here, and I see
Yeah.
the hammer heads that he's got on
Yeah.
chains.
Had
Those
to
are great.
sacrifice those.
Those are great though.
Like the
Hey,
front of his.
one thing that like I usually wonder about like kits like this is that when you first started off, like how did you have an idea of like the general shape that you wanted? Did you like sketch it out or something, or did you just kind of like build it from the ground up and just like kind of see where stuff fit, or how much of an idea of like the finished product did you have in mind when you started off?
Um, I mean, I kind of know. I kind of knew the main dimensions.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you followed me when I was building it, but I knew I wanted to build it big, so
Mhm.
I had to sort of start just with like I usually start with the shoulders, where the belly button would be, the hips, the knees, and the legs, and then I kind of get my scale right from there,
Mhm.
and then from there I kind of like bring everything into that scale. So I sort of think, all right, well, how big would the arms be? How big would the feet be? How big would everything else be? And
Okay.
I kind of use that as my starting point so that I know how big to build everything.
Mhm.
Um, but from there, I sort of the bit that kicked me off on the whole thing was when I first picked up the leg off the Hammer kit. I thought, well, this is a perfect arm.
Uh-huh.
It's like already ready to go, basically.
Yeah.
So to be honest, everything was scaled out around that being the arm.
So did
Um,
you oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you're right. Go.
I was just gonna say, so like when you first started, did you like uh did you know that you were gonna build did you know that you were gonna use the Hama Hama like straight away, or did you just have a general idea and then you chose the Hama Hama?
No, actually, I deliberately chose the Hummer Hummer. I'm not really a fan of the Hummer Hummer kit.
Mhm.
Um, I just sort of looked at it and I thought, well, I could see some potential in some of the
Uh,
parts in it, especially those shoulder parts and some other bits and pieces on it.
cool.
And because of the RE line, you don't have like a complex inner frame to deal with.
Yep.
It's kind of just big bits of plastic here and there.
Right.
Um, so it sort of lends itself to scratch building, I think,
Yeah.
that line.
Mhm.
Um, so I bought one, and I kind of, because you can't really tell until you get it in your hands, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
until you're actually sort of hanging on to it and looking at it, and you can really see the size. So I
Mhm.
got one, and I sort of thought, well, I could use this for that, and then I thought, well, I really need two.
Mhm.
Um, so I bought another one, and I actually used near enough the entire two kits.
Oh.
Um, but as for actually building, I sort of start with the feet. I don't know why. I just seem to always start with the feet when I scratch build.
Mhm.
Um, Once I knew my sort of scale and my size, the first thing I built was the feet. Um, and I kind of like to build them because that sort of sets the tone moving up the model.
Mhm.
Whereas if you sort of start in the middle, you can, I don't know, it's harder to, it's sort of harder for me to get it all even across it. Um,
Mhm.
but the legs itself, like the quad part of the leg is, I mean, there are definitely Hummer parts in there, but there's also just a lot of scratch built in there just out of styrene and epoxy putty and whatnot. And the front of the knees, if you can go to the one showing the front of the knees, Tim, yeah, like those are the two. They're off the shields of the Hummer.
Oh wow.
If you know it,
Right here,
The
these
white
parts.
parts?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're
Wow.
just like they're cut out of the shield and put in there, and then I sort of filled in behind it with some sort of pla and other bits and pieces.
Were
Um,
you when you're just working on the design of this, were you looking at any other kind of like non-Gundam source material for inspiration and for like the overall look of it?
uh, I constantly am. I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't doing it just for this. I've got a bit of a healthy obsession with looking at all sorts of
Okay.
different sort of
What
I guess
what kind of
genres.
stuff were you looking at the time?
Um,
So I'm interested.
I mean, I really love the mechs in Titanfall. I think they're pretty
Okay.
cool.
Nice.
And I also absolutely love Lucas Ampriolo's work, and Calamity, and you know, I get a lot of inspiration from his work. It's amazing. I just love how he's so he's sort of just doesn't have any rules. He just builds these crazy, amazing, big, chunky, fat, mean-looking mechs, and that's kind of what I really like. It really appeals to me when it's really big and, you know, got some weight to it.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at it and think, man, that thing looks really heavy and grounded. You know.
Yeah, Luke is a good one to get inspiration from, so I can't blame you there.
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal.
That's
and
awesome.
Like the if you looked in that picture right there, so basically the sort of center part where like his legs, like the crutch part, where the legs come out from,
Right.
they're the backs. So that well, that's a hose fitting, that part.
Right.
That's a Tamiya cap off a Tamiya bottle next to it. So
right here.
yeah.
Jeez, that's awesome.
And then like things like the hydraulic rams and whatnot on the back of the legs, they're all just scratch built out of styrene,
Right.
just to fit them in. I love big rams; they look cool, and you
They
can make
do
them
look
nice
awesome.
and dirty and really oily, and yeah, it's good.
And I see parts from the camphor chain mace in the knees.
Yeah,
Those are cool.
Right.
That's awesome, man. Just this whole model, you can just look at and see different details and stuff. And that's what I really like about this.
And don't take this the wrong way, Aaron, but I almost kind of enjoy looking at the close-up shots of this more than like looking at it from far away. It's really interesting to look at like close up, just to see, like Tim said, just like exploring the details and everything.
Oh no,
Shots.
that's kind of why I put so much detail in there, because when you first look at it, you go, oh, yeah, it's a big mech, but it's sort of, I wanted to make sure that people had to stop and really look at it and go, oh wow, there's that and there's that, and I'll look inside there. There's you know, there's hydraulics in there, there's hoses in there, there's all sorts of stuff everywhere. You know.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the weight too. Like you wanted it to look weighted, and I think I heard right that, or I saw some story that on the base of it, it's actually pushed down a little bit in the base. Is that all like for two reasons? Also because of the height of the kit, and because you wanted it to look weighted.
Yeah. So, you know, like I measured it. I must have measured it 100 times when I was building it, and I knew what its overall height was, so I knew what I had to play with the base. And I built the base, and again, I measured the base, you know, 50 times while I was building it. But when I put it on it at the end, I measured it and was like, what? I was nearly a full centimeter over the height.
Oh man.
So I didn't want to change the pose. I liked the way that he was standing. I sort of didn't want to, you know, crouch the head down any further. And I thought, all right, well, I'll just build a new base. I'll just change the base. So I started building another base. So I kind of like, I liked that first base. It was better. And then I sort of thought, well, something this big is going to weigh, you know, hundreds and hundreds of tons.
Yeah.
So it's plausible that, you know, it would have, you know, broken through the grate where it was standing. So I thought, oh, actually, I'll do that, and then that'll get me under the height. So yeah, it did. So I actually had to cut out where he's standing, which was kind of good, because it allowed me to like mount magnets in the bottom of that, and so that when I'm putting it together, it just pops on basically with magnets. So it actually worked out for the best in the end.
That's cool. So just real quick, in this picture, I wanted to stick on this picture. Is that like a arm from one of like the seed kits or something like that right here?
Yeah, it's from the Strike full package.
That is awesome. Cool. And it's just on the waist supporting the, I guess, the upper body. That's great.
Yeah.
That is so great.
What else can you see there? See that the big vents, those ones there, Tim, that you got? I mean, they're all kind of scratch built, all the sides of them and the front parts of them, but the actual vents itself are from my childhood Lego collection. So
oh, that's awesome. I was going to say, that looks so familiar to me. but I couldn't quite place it. So now that you say that, yeah, I totally remember those from the old school 80s
Yeah,
Lego
the
kits.
space Lego, the space Lego.
Yes. Yes, that is great. And I love this addition, this I guess what is that, an eagle
Yeah,
decal, and it's just kind of hidden. And I love that. That is great.
Mm.
Just those details, like you said, and there it is right there, just kind of on the side of the midsection. And I mean, just looking at it for the first time, you might not see that, but then once you get in on it and you look and you see that, and then just like, oh, that's a nice little touch. That's really
yeah.
cool. Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Like
Aaron.
I said, no, I mean that's sort of like I find that the kits I like the most to look at myself are where I have to stop and I can just like literally pull up a chair and sit down and it's entertainment just searching through all the bits and pieces. And I think to myself like, man, you barely can see that, but I can see what you would have had to have done to build that,
Right.
let alone
Mm.
paint it and all that other stuff. So
You just
I
lose
really kind
yourself
of,
in the details.
yeah, that's what I set out to do. I set out to sort of put nice little hidden um, things all over it.
Mm.
That's
But
awesome.
the actual hand is the bit I'm probably most proud of because that's entirely scratch built, like from styrene stock, the whole thing.
Right. And I was
Sure.
actually going to ask you about the hand, because I watched you, through the work in progress photos and everything, build that hand, and that was just really, really impressive. What talk us through there? There's a good image of it. Talk us through that. How did you come up with the design and everything?
With that, I just kind of went with whatever, whatever I was building. Like I started out just again with the dimensions of it and
Mhm.
just using like styrene stock rod. Kind of worked out the main dimensions of the fingers and the thumb, and then just built everything around it
Mm.
basically.
That's
Um,
awesome.
it was, I mean, it was actually really simple to build in the end. But yeah, I just thought it was a cool thing, and it's big too. I don't know if you remember my work in progress. I was like fist pumping it in one of them,
Yeah.
and it's a decent fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think it plays very well. There you go. With the man himself.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and then there's Kawaguchi.
Hey.
I just noticed that Emmanuel was photobombing right between us, and then there was just a friend of mine there at the back.
Oh, nice.
I didn't
Nice.
notice that until right then.
And then you've got the perfect "Can I get a hell yeah?"
Yeah,
Um,
the rifler
from,
special.
yeah, man, that's awesome. Let's see what else we got. There's our good friend Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's
Big
awesome.
Link.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, too. Um, when you're getting ready to go into this build, was there like some goal of like something that you wanted to try that you hadn't really done much of before that you were like experimenting with like for the first time with this build?
Good question.
Um, yeah. Look, I mean, this is by far and away the most scratch built thing I've ever built.
Okay.
Um, up to this point, um, I had built little scratch built
Hmm.
things, not necessarily mech, but any kit modification I had done was just really that. It was just kind of taking a base kit and modifying it. Um, but this was the first time I actually thought, no, I'm going to make my own original type thing, just
Hmm.
totally scratched out of a mix of kit bashing and scratch building. So I mean, that was kind of the goal going into it, just to do something crazy and stupid and just hope for the best. But I also was really determined because I mean if you guys see my work online, I only do weathered, and for me, the models is it's about the realism. I like it because it brings it more to the real side of the spectrum as opposed to the, I guess, the stylized side of the spectrum. Um, so everyone sort of says to me every year, like, man, GBWC doesn't like weathered models. You got to do a clean build. Got to do a clean build. And I was like, yeah, that's probably true. But I sort of thought to myself, look, if I just do a clean build just because I want to try and win, like I couldn't do that. I've got to be like invested. I've got to do my style. So I was determined to just stick with doing a weathered model and really beat up and battle worn. And it was refreshing. It was actually refreshing that, that it looks like sort of weathered models are getting a bit of love this year from the looks of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that it's such an imposing model. I can imagine being so large too, that it just has such a nice presence, and the weathering that you've applied to it obviously is not necessarily overdone. It's very realistic for the kind of imagined size of it and everything too. So, man, it's just a really, really nice project.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar. Actually, I don't think it's really that weathered. I mean, compared to other things that I've seen in other works of yours, I mean, it's relatively light, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's strange though. Like, I mean, like if you actually not that I say it's 1/100 scale, but because I used 3 1/100 kits to build it, a lot of things are in that scale, right? So, I mean, if you convert that into 1/100, that it's near on 50 meters tall. So, it meant that I could do quite a lot of weathering and keep it relatively, keep it to scale. I think that's why it doesn't look as weathered. It's because actually it's to scale for a change. Because generally most people, when they weather a 1/100 kit, and certainly a 1/144 kit, it's not to scale, right?
Yeah.
Because if it were to scale, you'd barely even be able to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, I'm very conscious of that, and I do like weathering. I like that as a style. So that was a sort of another reason I wanted to build something big for a change, because then actually it is to scale. Like all that weathering is believable.
Just super cool, man. And I love the use of different types of decals and stuff too. We saw the picture just a few seconds ago of all of the different decal sheets and everything, and I love that that whole thing. Graphic design for me, going into kind of like the final stages of the kit is always huge. And man, I think you just hit it out of the park with this one.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, again, decals, they can make or break a kit. Some people get it really wrong. They overuse them.
Yeah.
But I also think that if you're clever with them, they can really sell the scale, really sell the size of the kit. So that's kind of my goal, is to do just the right amount, and not sort of overdo it.
Now, one thing that some people always ask me is about what scale decals do I normally use. So what scale did you predominantly use in this particular kit? 1/100 or 144?
No, it'd be 1/100. I mean, look, I have built 1/144 kits, but I generally don't. So, most of the decals I have are from 1/100. But in saying that, I mean, most kits don't come with decals, right? So, it's only what you go and buy. So you can buy whatever you like, and I just buy what I think is cool, within reason. Like sometimes you can't. There's mixing and matching, but then if you're putting Federation decals over a Xeon suit, it looks a bit funny.
Yeah, it does.
But with something like this, where it's kind of like, wow, you can do whatever you like,
Yeah.
Right.
But what I find is that if you put some of those like bigger decals like that the lightning fist and the bird and stuff, if you put those, which are totally from like aircraft models and all sorts of things, they are quite distracting. So they make people not focus on the little tiny decals all over the place. They just sort of see those ones and go, oh, cool, big fist. And You know, which is something I tend to do. I tend to always put something really distinguishable on models
That's
when
awesome.
in terms of decals. It's like on my tank, right? I put that big frog right on the middle of it.
Yes, and we'll take a look at that here in a moment, because I definitely want to take a look at that tank because that turned out really cool. But here's a nice shot of the foot that Aaron was talking about before, and I see I see a shoulder piece from what is
Yeah,
that? The strike,
yeah, that's the same kit.
build strike. Yeah, man,
Nice.
I
I
was
just
just
love it. I
I
love it.
needed something, and I walked in, and he copped it. He was just staring back at me on my shelf. So I thought, ooh,
Nice.
That is great. And I love these primer shots because you can see kind of the the parts that went into it a little bit with more detail, as opposed to the finished piece where they do get lost a little bit in paint. This is kind of the part that I appreciate so much, seeing the craftsmanship that went into this. And man, it's just it's so good.
I mean, for me, I put it in primer because with something as complex as this, and because it's large, there's a lot of detail, right? So it's really easy to, you know, kill all your hard work by a really shitty paint job or bad
Yes.
color choice.
Right.
So actually, Josh put me on to, you know, the whole segmenting all the different pieces in Photoshop, and then you can just play around with colors.
Right.
And it's a hell of a lot of work, you know, the Photoshop work. But once you've done it, then it's really easy to change colors, right? Like you can experiment with the craziest color schemes, and it's really simple after you've taken that time to lasso all the different parts. So that was the main reason I put it in primer, because then I just had like one tone across the whole model, and it was really easy to colorize it in Photoshop and play around with all sorts of different colors.
It's just so nice to look at. I can look at this thing for hours, to be honest with you.
And there's
So
a lot of stuff there.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. Let's get down here because I want to see. Um, Here we go. Here's a, okay, this is what I wanted to see. There's a shot of the hand, and just the sheer scale of the sledgehammer hand. Oh, and I see a Sananju Stein cover, ankle
Yeah.
cover there. That's awesome.
So
I
that was
love
kind of
it.
like I think that was my first go, or maybe that was like the first prototype of the hand.
Okay. Okay.
Obviously, I ended up changing. I didn't like that cover there, so that's what I was saying. In the end, I just scratch built the whole thing because I couldn't find something that actually was big enough to sort of be the back of the hand.
Right.
So then I just thought, I'll just build it. It looks pretty simple, and it actually was. It wasn't that hard to build
Right.
compared to some of the things I built on it. You know, like the legs were, you know, 1,000 times harder to build.
Definitely. Let's see if we can find some good pictures here. Excuse me. Of the legs. Here's a great picture of the head and everything that went into it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Man.
Nice. The like top back of the head is the back of the forearm of the camphor as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, it was in a couple months ago now in an episode of G Tech with Josh. We were looking at a build, and there was one part that we were trying to identify for so long. We were trying to figure out what it was. It finally figured out it was that part of the back of the forearm of the MG camphor.
Nice.
Yeah.
So here's a nice in progress shot of the legs coming together. Man, yeah, just so much going on here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty strong too. Like it really stands under its own weight
Right.
because I mean, all those sort of the lower legs and I guess where it turns at the ankle, that's all full of like epoxy sculpt, you know,
Okay.
like putty,
Right.
just so that it's really rigid and strong.
Gotcha. Man. Let's see. Here's
I
another.
like the Lego piece on there.
This is more stylized. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the use of Lego parts. Obviously,
The best connect.
yeah. Well, we've talked about it, you know, a little bit with obviously the front vent parts. Here you can see a little bit better. You can see the sanded off Lego connector there, and obviously the square 2x2 piece here. You used a lot of Lego as kind of connectors, though, right?
Yeah. Well, they're all over it actually. That's what enables it to come apart.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
that's nice.
it's perfect for it because it's actually styrene. It's polystyrene, so you can use cement on it. Like it just fit right into your workflow. You don't have to like sort of go and grab the CA glue or the epoxy. You can just use, you know, your normal cement to
That's
Right.
put it in.
cool. Usually when we hear about like people using Legos in their builds and stuff, I'm like getting ready to cringe right away. 'Cause, like usually it's not like not done in the proper way. But yeah, we've seen that can be really useful. That's cool.
Nice. Here's I guess kind of a more finished shot of the scratch built hand and everything that went into it. And this is like like a Lego Bionicle or something like that style joint.
Bionicle.
That's awesome. And you can
Cool.
see it. This is what 1/100 scale hand right here.
Yeah, that's 1/100.
Man. So you can see the size difference, guys.
Mhm.
That's massive. And
Actually,
I love
that might be 1/144. Actually, Tim,
okay.
that little
If-
hand there.
Even still, this sucker is huge, right? And what I really love is that you did each individual finger to a custom size. You didn't just do 4 fingers of the
Mhm.
same, you know, length, position, all that. You did everything, you know, completely custom, completely different. Obviously with the numbering and everything here. So I so totally respect that. I love that.
Mhm.
I
Really
mean,
cool.
you know, that's the thing about, I guess, scratch building is that you've got to know what's enough that, you know, it's once you paint it, it will look perfect. It will look how you want it to look because
Right.
it's a bit of a fine art, you know, like you can sort of get things to a point and think, yeah, that'll be fine when I paint it. And then when you paint it, it looks worse because it really highlights it.
Right.
But in the same token, like I see some people doing, you know, scratch building stuff, and it's utterly perfect when they've finished building it. And I'm like, well, you're going to end up painting that, and it's not really even seen, and it's going to be on the inside of his hand where he won't see. You know, like I think when you're trying to build as efficiently as possible, you've got to sort of weigh all that stuff up,
Yeah.
and put your energy into the stuff that matters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think there's a part of the modeler that has kind of inherent need to make, you know, whatever it is, especially when it comes to scratch building, perfect, no matter whether it's seen or not. I know, especially when I do stuff like that, there could be a part that I spend hours, days on that's hardly ever seen, you know, in the finished piece. But, you know, you may be the same way, but I know it's there. And if I don't fix it, then I know that I've just kind of copped out on it and just didn't give my best. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. It's not worth it. I've always known, like, if you cut a corner or you're not quite happy with something and you think, oh, it'll be right, it's a really slippery slope because then you start,
Mhm.
you know, you start conceding on everything and you get to the end and you hate the model as
Yeah.
opposed to, you know, being proud of it. So
Right.
You can see that, especially if you're building for a competition. I think in our chat right after GBWC, I was talking to the guys about this a little bit. Is that like when you're seeing the builds like at the event, you can see those little tiny things like a seam line they didn't quite get totally covered, or like where paint pulled a little bit in the corner of this part or something like that. Those little things that, like, yeah, if you're letting that stuff slide, like you people can see it when it's at the show and people are
yeah.
able to actually look at it up close.
And the thing is too is that like, you know, the people looking at those models are all modelers themselves generally.
Yeah.
And you know, we've all seen those things, we've experienced them ourselves. So like when you look at them, it's the silvering decals and the you know, oh, big scratch there, and you sort of that they're not even, and you know, all that stuff just jumps out at you. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
it really does. And especially if you're, I think for, you know, a competition builder, and, you know, I don't know if it's the same all the way around, but I will notice those things. If I'm looking at other builds, you know, from other modelers, I'll notice the things that they might have done wrong. You know, at least in my eyes. So yeah, man, attention to detail is just everything. Man, and this is a great shot. I love the fact that you used a Tamiya cap here.
That's cool.
In this
size.
assembly. It's just so good.
That's really cool.
And just go back to it for a sec, Tim.
Oh yeah,
That last one. And see the see where the ball is.
Yeah.
That piece in between the ball and the Tamiya cap.
This kind of clearish part.
Yeah, that
What is
part
that?
there. Yeah. So that's off dishwashing liquid bottle. It's the lid, the squirter. You know, the squirter part that you pull up.
I love it. I
Cool.
absolutely love it. See, and guys out in the chat and watching this later, this type of resourcefulness, and kind of just creativity, man, that's what really kind of sets, you know, GBWC level builders apart from everybody else. And I see it every single time in every single GBWC piece. They've taken something that you wouldn't necessarily expect, and they incorporated it in their model, and they just, you know, made it look outstanding. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So just so good. I love it. Oh yeah, look at that.
Cool.
That is great, man. That is so great.
Did you find that plastic hard to paint? Like the paint and anything wouldn't really stick to it?
No, I mean not that part in particular, but some of the, like, you know, the bits like the hose fittings and the other bits and pieces that I grabbed, some of that I had to sand it first and you know, put like a really use like a sort of an etch primer on it, something that will really eat into it, you know, like a lacquer primer, so it would really sort of bite into it.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let's change gears here a little bit. Let's talk about the chieftain that you're working on right now. Man, just it's so good. I mean, look at the mud in the tracks and the slight denting of you know, the armor and everything, and the weathering is just so nice, especially up close, because I see a lot of models that look good from far, but then once you get up really, really close to them, they're far from good, right? This is just not in that level. This is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, so Lincoln was taking the piss out of me, saying, "What about all those angry ants?" So when I first did it, because like with the rust, you've sort of got to go a little bit overboard a little bit, and then because when you put washers and whatnot over it, it tones it back. So
Sure.
when Lincoln calls you out, you kind of think, "Shit, did I go too far?" You know, if Lincoln's put me on the angry ants, then I must have gone too far. But no, I sort of I kept going. I put some washers over it, dirtied it up a bit, and yeah, the angry ants are subdued now.
Nice, nice. And you never know, especially with Lincoln, you never know if if he's being serious or not, you know?
He's generally never serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, this is great looking, dude. I love this. Every part about it. I need to try my hand at armor.
Oh man, if you armor's good because That's why I think it's the perfect palette cleanse, because it's not like Gundam in the sense that, or Gunpla, that we end up with this forest of sticks with hundreds of parts on them that we paint intricately. With armor, you just build the bloody thing and paint it.
Right.
Like you literally build the entire kit. Maybe there's like the turret comes off, but other than that, you just go for it. You just paint it.
That's awesome. And I love the detail that you did here in the kind of the skirting on this, how some of the corners are bent up like it ran into something, or maybe hit kind of the bit farther from a mine or something like that. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there, but I just just those little details just give it just pops of realism that just make it come to life.
Because it's just like this really perfect flat piece with scribed lines down it. So, that in reality they're not. They're separate plates so that they can be changed out if they get damaged. So, something simple as just cutting them and then hitting them with a heat gun and bending them a little bit just adds so much realism.
Man, this is great.
They look really cool. Yeah.
And I love the frog on top. Where is that from? I mean, what's the deal with the frog?
It's a Mac. It's from. It's a Mac frog.
Okay.
It's from the. It's one of the alternate schemes you get with the Nutcracker.
Okay.
Okay.
So I did the Nutcracker. I did mine in pink. I don't know if you remember that one, but I think I'd seen that. Yeah, I did it in pink. So that's obviously not off the pink scheme. So I had that floating around.
I just love it. I mean, and it's perfectly placed. It's right there in the middle, like you said. Oh man, it's just that's so cool. I love kind of decals that just jump out at you like that.
And in reality, I mean, I was in the military, so
oh really? Okay.
That's what it's like. I mean, all these machines, people, the crew of them customize them. They stick things on them. They write stuff on them. They kind of make it their own.
Oh,
right.
Hang on, guys.
So for me, that's sort of like a way of making it identifiable as well. So like if you ever see, a weathered chieftain, there's millions of them online. Then I can sort of spot my one because it's got a big frog on the top.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And yeah, just this is great. I love seeing this part, just the specs before they're blended in and everything.
Yeah. It's one of the easiest and best techniques going.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Let's take a look at the diorama portion of this here. Close that. Let's get back out here. Excuse me. And here we go. Here's some more. Here's a good picture of the diorama.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah. Now you just picked up this spray gun, right?
Yeah. Actually, I did. I just got it from Ryan. Actually, I got it about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But I hadn't used it yet.
Gotcha.
But it's an absolute weapon. I don't know why I've waited so long. Honestly, I've been spraying clear with just like a little 0.35 airbrush for years on big stuff like that, and it's just fantastic. Honestly,
that's awesome. Nice. How good is it to see that GBWC logo with your model, man?
Although their website, Bandai I let Frederick know, but their website, if you click on the 2017 and 2016 Australian champions, you see that image. So
oh jeez.
Sorry, Kieran.
Whoops. Oh man.
Everybody coming to see who won last year is going to go, man, this dude won last year and the year before with the same model.
He's that good.
They let him enter it 3 years in a row.
Oh, that is hilarious. Now, this is the model right here, your Jesta, that kind of really introduced me to your work. This was really, really cool. You know, very detailed, very, very militaristic. You know, love the diorama that you did here. Just the whole 9 yards. So, so good. What year was this done, actually? This was 2017?
Yeah, it was last year.
Okay. Okay.
So look, you know, initially, and I said this on the Gunpla Network interview, but I never set out for this to be my GBWC entry. Like this was kind of the first time I had done any major scratch building. So I'd only done kind of scribing and a bit of pla plating up to this point. But this is where I like totally changed the quads and, you know, really, really changed the suit up a bit.
Right.
And I got that Scratch Built Revolution book, you know, and I sort of thought, well, a good way to learn would be to as best as I can try and copy those mods in there. So I always intended to just try and as best as I could to copy that, and you know, never sort of show it or certainly put it in a competition.
Right.
But as soon as I sort of started, I did the first piece and it was similar to what was in the book. But then after that, I just sort of my own ideas started coming in, and I thought, actually, it'd be cool if I did this and did that. So it just sort of grew into this big project.
Right.
I never intended it to be. And then I actually finished the kit, and I thought, yeah, I'll enter that. That'll be cool. And then I sort of thought, actually, I should put a base on it. I should just do a base, a really simple base.
Right.
And then again, the base just grew. And next thing I had this whole building and, you know, a big scene set, and it just sort of went. The base took me almost as long as the actual kit.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I look at it now and I'm pretty critical of it, to be honest. I sort of look at it. It's too red. It's too much red.
Oh man. No, I think we're all critical of our past pieces, especially the early one.
Ryan actually from Hobbyco, he hit me up this year when he saw my entry this year, and he was like, "Yeah, your entry was okay last year, but it was too washed out. It was too red." And I was like, "Man, you should have told me that before I entered it."
Right.
Like, I didn't want to say nothing. And I was like, man, you don't tell me that afterwards.
Oh man, Ryan would have put you off your game.
Makes me doubt myself.
Yeah, I love the little details that you put into the diorama. Just, you know, the guys in the back, you know, loading the ammo and everything. It's just every little part of this you can see, you know, some sort of vignette or story being told, and that for me, it just makes a diorama so successful. This is awesome.
See the posters?
Yeah.
So like I had to print those out. Like they're pretty small, you know, like they're probably only about 5 mil high.
Oh man.
But, you know, like all the little posters and the graffiti. That graffiti's hand brushed. I'm very proud of that part. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't think I'd seen that before. That's from last year's GBWC?
Yeah. This was last year.
I don't know if I saw that. It does look really cool though. Sorry, I had to skip out there for a second.
That's cool.
It's all good. No, like I said, Zach, this is the model that kind of introduced me to Aaron's work. And man, I mean, not only do I love the Jesta design, but I love seeing how people kind of treat the Jesta and do their own thing. And this was a winner in my book. I really, really like the look of this thing.
It's like, you know, last year I asked Kawaguchi-san afterwards if he could give me some feedback on it. And he said, you know, he kind of said in a roundabout way, there's sort of nothing wrong with it. He liked it as a model, but if it's going to be a weathered model, it's too weathered evenly. And he sort of said to me, like, it's a huge thing as big as a building. The feet would be really heavily weathered, but as it went up the body, it wouldn't be, right. And if you kind of, if I look at it, I've kind of got an even coating of weathering over the whole kit, you know.
Right.
And ironically, this year when he was at our GBWC, when he was doing his panel, he did a really, really detailed presentation. And because Lincoln was able to translate for him this year, we got a really accurate translation of the message he was sort of,
That's cool.
saying. And he actually addressed that very thing. He sort of said, these are massive, big machines, and they should be weathered if you're going for a realistic view of them, but the right way. Like if you think about that foot, for instance, that foot is taller than a person.
Yeah.
So it's going to encounter quite a bit of damage there, but not too far up that leg is going to be as tall as a building. So it's like it wouldn't be all weathered and all that sort of stuff. It might.
Right.
Really, really good pointers, actually, and it sort of stuck in my head. So I was very conscious with the sledgehammer this year of making sure that I got a gradient of weathering.
That's awesome. And I mean, that's a very good point. I mean, you got to think the size of the foot is almost like basically like a small tank, or some other vehicle of that sort, right? Excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, there's going to be an even amount of weathering. Okay, see, this is what I love. These propaganda posters right here. See that, man, that detail alone for me, it just kind of gives me the warm and fuzzies inside, because those are the types of details that, for me, in dioramas, just they put it over the top. They give that sense of realism, but they also give that scene meaning too, and that's just, dude, that's awesome. I absolutely love that.
You would have really, really loved Jimmy's entry, James Denise from Australia here then.
Yeah.
His diorama, I mean, it was all diorama. It was just probably the best diorama I've ever actually seen in real life. It was just crazy. And literally everywhere you looked on that model, there was something hidden, some little cool thing, secret little thing that he had done. And he didn't really even like point them all out to everyone. He kind of just pointed out the main ones. But if you just sat there for ages and looked, me and him were sort of looking at it, and I go, "Oh, hey, what's that?" And he'd sort of chuckle and go, "Yeah, that's this." And it was very cool.
That's awesome.
Very cool model.
And Josh, I think last month talked about the intricacies of his work and everything too. So, yeah, that would be really, really cool to see. So, hey guys, hit up Weathered As right here on Facebook and also Instagram, right, Aaron?
Yep. Same on Instagram.
Definitely good follows. I follow them on both here and on Instagram. But yeah, man, just go up there, hit the like button. Really easy. It won't take you too long. It's a good follow. And yeah, like Aaron's work, man. It's awesome.
I build every night.
There you go, man. There you go.
Plenty of content.
Very cool. Zach, go ahead and take the screen away. Let's talk a little bit.
Sure.
And there's the the warp. Awesome. Am I still screen sharing? I am. I need to stop that. There we go.
There we are.
Cool. So that's awesome, dude. Very cool. Very cool. So let's kind of change gears. Let's continue to talk about GBWC a little bit, but let's talk about Zach's GBWC here, just kind of in closing. Zach, what was your experience as a rookie with GBWC, man? Tell us about it a little bit.
Well, I've attended GBWC a handful of times here in Korea.
But you haven't entered
about that. Yeah, but I haven't. This is my first time entering.
Right.
The interesting thing about that is that their venue grows every year. I think the first time that I went, it was pretty small. Wasn't really that substantial at all, but especially the venue they were in this year was really huge, almost too big for what they needed, to be honest.
Right.
But it was very, very big, and yeah, it's very busy. So I live on like the opposite side of the country from Seoul. I live on the far south side. Seoul is up in the north side near the DMZ,
Okay.
sort of. And Korea is a relatively small country. Of course, it's like about the size of Indiana or something. Not very big, but still, it's about a 3-hour train ride for me to go up there. So like the drop-off day for builds was on Wednesday, and then the show started from
Wednesday.
Thursday. Yeah. The
Man.
show's on from Thursday, and then the ceremony's on Sunday. So
Wow.
luckily Wednesday was a holiday, so I didn't have any work. So I was able to go up there on Wednesday. So it's just up and back in the same day is a journey that I wouldn't really want to do for any reason, but unfortunately I had to do. And so, yeah, transporting the kit was something that I was worried about too, just because of my base for the diorama. It was heavy, but also like the rock part was really heavy, but the like platforms that I built for it were just kind of like barely attached onto there, so I was worried about that. I was able to pack it up pretty well, and it didn't really have to move. I just packed it up into a box. Actually, it's still in the box. I haven't unpacked it. But because I basically just had to take it from here, from home to the train station, and just like put on the shelf in the train, and then just go up to Seoul, and then just from the train station off the train onto the subway, then the subway to the venue, and then it's just like right there at the venue. So I really didn't have to like carry it or move it around too much. It's just like from one mode of transportation to the other, and then I'm there at the space. So it wasn't too bad having to get it there. But on Wednesday, on the day for installing, the line was crazy. I waited over an hour to get in just to install my piece. So yeah, when I walked up to the place and like the line was stretching, I think I sent a video to you guys in the chat that yeah, it was crazy. The line was crazy long. And then even after I came out, when I was done, and the line was still going like that. So it was like that all day. Originally, they had set the time for installing from 3 to 9 p.m. And then like a few days before the event, they sent out an email to everyone letting everyone know they're going to be starting at 12 because they were expecting there was going to be so many. So it was a crazy amount.
How long did they give you to set your kit up, Zach?
Once you're in, they don't like rush you at all. So I mean, once you're in there, you can take your time, but they're only allowing a certain amount of people in at a time. And I think it's not only that too, is just because of when you first go in, they're like checking your ID and everything, and like getting you like your kind of like receipt that you have to bring back when you come to take the kit. So just the process of doing that, they only had a few people there for that, so they could only let in so many people at a time. And I think that was probably also intentional, just so they weren't overcrowding the space, so people had room to go in. So I went in and was told that I had to put mine in this one section. And I originally put it in, there's like upper and lower display cabinets. I originally put it in the lower one, and the lighting was really bad. They just had like one like really bright light shining on it. So it's like very directional light on it. It didn't look good at all.
Right.
So luckily there was another guy there who agreed to switch places with me, and he moved his to the lower one, because in that area where I had to put mine in, all the higher shelves were all taken up. So his was relatively small and just kind of just set of kits. So he agreed to switch with me. So that was good. The lighting was much better on the second one.
Nice.
The higher shelf. But yeah, got it installed relatively quickly. It's pretty simple. I just had like the kits just pop onto the diorama, and that was pretty much it. And then yeah, went back up to Seoul on Sunday, and then had the meetup, which was only a couple of guys. I wasn't expecting it to be that many, just because I don't really have much of an audience here in Korea. But I know a few other guys who would have wanted to come, who actually are here in Korea, had different things come up and weren't able to go. So understandable. But just hung out on Saturday, went to a couple shops, picked up a few things, the Wing Zero custom.
Nice.
And then Sunday went to the event, and it was cool. GBWC in Korea, I mean, it's just same thing like Gundam Expo. Bandai's got all their stuff on display, all the new kits and all that. And then they have like a big showroom for like the Tamashii Nation stuff as well. And then just the space for all the entries. I don't know how many entries it was. Maybe Alex
Mhm.
knows. He's in the chat.
502, I think.
Was it? Yeah, I knew it was
Wow.
around something like that.
Yeah, Alex said 400 plus. So
It was a
yeah,
lot.
I was gonna say that's a lot of entries.
It was incredible.
Crazy.
And that's split over multiple categories. So
Right.
it's not all within one category, but man, it was definitely a lot. So we just basically looked through all of them, and yeah, going into the thing, like building my diorama and the whole process leading up to it, I wasn't expecting to win because I liked what I was building, but uh, I don't know. I know here in Korea there's a lot of really good competition, so uh, even anywhere in the world, I wasn't really expecting to win, but especially here in Korea, I know like there's a lot of really good builders here. So, but after looking at all the entries, I was starting to think, I don't know, I might have a chance, like third place maybe, just because
Right.
it's because of the little things, like we were talking about. You see just these little details where the modeler like skipped out, and like whereas if I was the judge, I would have taken points off for things like that.
Yeah.
Where on mine, I felt pretty confident that I didn't really have a lot of those little points that would have been like points off. That kind
Right.
of thing. I felt pretty good with mine, but
But
so I don't know. Go
I
ahead.
reckon that's why I would try to encourage people to enter, because people only see the imagery online, and
Mm,
people post their best image,
mm,
and a lot of images are even photoshopped and all sorts of stuff. And when you actually go to the event and see it, and you see them up close, you go, most of them aren't actually that perfect
yeah.
and that good. There's a lot of little bits of,
Yep.
and they don't look that amazing. One or two generally stand out, and you go, they're next level. They're obviously the contenders, but
Right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I think it's good for you to go to it because
Mm,
it makes you kind of realize, okay, I can definitely have a crack here.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. I think that was actually, like I said, that for the first time I went in Korea, it was a really small, much smaller than what it is now. But that was like my initial thought, like after visiting there. Uh, I was like, I could, compete at least with what I saw there. So yeah, I think it kind of takes away some of the shine of thinking like, oh, these entries are like way ahead of me.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit more confidence, I guess.
Right.
But in the end, it didn't work out. It didn't end up winning anything. But I don't know. The entries. Did you guys see the winners from Korea?
Yeah, the turntable unicorn forest thingy.
That was the first place was that one.
Yeah.
That was pretty easy to guess that one was going to win.
Really?
One of the top three at least. I mean, maybe not
Was it
necessarily
that
number one.
good close up?
Yeah, it is really cool. It's a really cool
Really?
entry. I think that the spinning gimmick of it was really unnecessary. That really didn't need to do that. Because then that to make it like that, I don't really think he really needed to make it like that, but the way he made it was that the pond of that is very circular, and it looks a little bit
Right.
unnatural to have
Yeah.
like a perfectly circle pond, even though it obviously is meant to be sort of fantastical
Right.
anyway. But I think it would have looked cooler just not spinning and just had the pond look a little bit more like natural shape. It would have been
Right.
more interesting, I think.
I'm the same. Like all that gimmicky stuff. I'm just not a fan. I can never get that one from. Was it last year? The one that had the spinning arm things. I can just never get that out of my head.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that one I think definitely was really cool and deserved to be in the top three for sure. The second place and third place, though, I'm not sure really as much. The second place one, honestly, I didn't really look at it that closely when I was going around, just because I just wasn't really that interested in it at all.
Mhm.
So like I took photos of all the ones that I thought were some of the best ones and some of the ones that I liked the most, and I didn't even take a picture of that one.
Right.
I don't
So
even know what came second and third.
second place was I could try to find the photos of it.
Well,
But
there was a 148th Zaku 2 with the Xeon flag, right? Did that place?
no,
It didn't
no,
place.
it
That
didn't.
was wild because I
Yeah.
actually follow. Wasn't that I think it was Sia Hoya on
I'm not sure.
Instagram. It might be. I know I follow that whoever built that, and I think it was Sia Hoya, but I follow them on Instagram, and just from the pictures, it looked very, very nicely done. His work is really good, and just that whole scene that he built was kind of really nice, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, it was cool, but yeah, that is actually one of the, and Alex is talking about this in the chat too. That was one that when you did look up close to it, the painting was a little bit uneven on some parts of it. It was the kind of thing
far,
that
but far from good.
yeah, when you look at it up close, you could see that.
That's unfortunate.
Not really that big of a deal. I think you could see it. It wasn't really that bad, but it was noticeable when you look at it up close. But yeah, it was really cool, and there was a lot of really cool bits of that in the painting things that he did, like the inside part of the mono eye behind the clear part is like painted in orange, and behind there it looked really cool. Just like little details like that about that build, I really liked. Unique things. That's cool. About it. But yeah, that one didn't place. Just right next to mine, there was this really incredible Sazabi. I was like, oh man, I don't really want to be like right next to this one. That one didn't place at all. That was really good.
Was that the one that was high detail?
Yeah, super detailed.
Yeah,
Sazabi, I think I've seen like it's a resin kit or something. Yeah,
man.
There's a lot of really.
What about the black one that had like the whole scene on the floor? It had like sandbags and it was like a really, really mech. It was like a real kind of. I'll try and find it.
I'm not sure. Black. I'm not sure.
It was kind of all black.
It's like a full-on like detailed scene.
Yeah.
You mean like with the tank and the Zaku head like smashed?
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Tank, maybe?
Like a big full diorama, big sort of battle scene going on, but the main mech was black from memory.
Alex says Ghost, the one with the computer screen one. I don't know if Alex is talking to us or if he's talking to somebody in the chat, but he just posted that, so I don't know.
It might be different than what I'm thinking of. But there was a lot of cool builds. There was I don't know, probably 3, 4, or 5 mega-sized Zakus. There was probably 5 Deep Strikers of like those big kids. There's quite a few of them. The third place was like a little diorama of the Masquerade GPO2 and Zamel. He had like kit bashed.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And the kits themselves were pretty well done, especially the Zamel because he just built it a lot of different parts.
Right.
And all that was pretty good. The diorama I felt that was very flat. It's just like no 3-dimensional aspects to it at all.
Right.
So that was just kind of a little bit boring, and like they're just kind of like stood there, not really doing anything. It looks like. So I didn't really like that one too much. I think like the kits themselves were well done, but the scene wasn't really very interesting.
Right. Well, I think what we should probably do is when the boys are back, kind of talk about that maybe next month on next month's show. Because I know you got some great pictures and stuff of some of the
many.
You didn't get many? I thought you
didn't really take all that many. I didn't really bother.
Oh, they're floating around here somewhere. I'm sure we can find them.
Alex posted a link here.
Oh, there we go.
Show you guys.
What did Alex post here? I'm clicking on it too.
This has a bunch of them, not all of the entries. Oh, here he's showing the black one.
Yeah.
I'll screen share right here for you.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that one.
In person, I wasn't really as into it. I think it in photos, I think it does look pretty cool. In person, I don't know. It looked a bit of a mess, to be honest.
Gotcha. Like a mishmash of things.
Yeah, and I mean, it could. I mean, it depends on personal taste. It's just not something that I'm. It's like to my personal taste.
Black kits are hard to get right.
Yeah, they are. They show
a hard color to work with, you know.
It was just a big mash of parts. Like this, something like this compared to like your build, Aaron, where I was saying like you really enjoy kind of taking a look at all the details and everything. This was just, I think, just because it is so dark, maybe too.
Right.
It's just kind of like a headache to look at up close to looking at all this different stuff.
What's the main kit that it's based on? What is that? Is it a R7A?
The HG Psycho Gundam.
Oh,
It
is it
looks
only
like.
Is it at HG? Oh,
It's
right.
HG, but it's a really big one. The Cycle
Yeah.
Gundam's that really
Oh,
huge
that
like
monster one.
pole armor.
Yeah,
Massive.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shield was cool. How he had like the clear part for that. I don't know if there's another photo of it here in the album. No,
Yeah.
but
I think it's just a single one. I feel like my eye needs a rest from just all the black, you know?
yeah, it was a lot. It's a like I said, in person it kind of looks like a bit of a mess. I didn't really spend too much time looking at it, to be honest.
Gotcha.
But there was a lot of stuff. Like like I said, there was a lot of Deep Striker stuff in excess.
That's
As expected.
yeah. Flavor of the month kit.
This one was also right near mine as well. This is pretty cool. Mixing
That
and
is pretty
PGX, yeah. Or probably not PG, that's probably just the 160 non-grade.
You would
and all the
hope.
balls.
All the balls.
And Haro. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
SSB that was right next to mine. Yeah.
That's a beautiful
Very,
kit.
very nice.
Yeah.
But as we know, these kind of kits just don't often win GBWC. The super technical ones.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I mean, well,
Yeah.
them around, but I think that kind of hyper detailed sort of had its day. Now the concept is everything, and
Yeah. That?
you know,
I
liked
blame
that. I thought
Win.
that was cool.
It's all Win's fault.
Yeah, who does a wooden Gundam?
Yeah, right? Win, if you're watching, this is all your fault. Asshole. Love you.
I really
started
expected this one to place, to be honest. I didn't really like it so much personally, but I expected this one to place. So I was kind of surprised.
I actually had a really good look at that, like in the images, and the actual skill level is really high. But for me, like it could have just if it just had been doing something cool, like a really cool pose, I think it would have really stood out a bit more because it's amazing work if you look at it up close.
Hey guys, Win's actually in the chat. That's awesome.
On my shelf.
Oh, so good.
This was cool. I was really surprised that I think there was maybe 3 or 4 entries of a PG unicorn in unicorn mode. Was really surprising. You don't see unicorn builds like in contests and things like in unicorn mode as much because it's obviously not as like flashy. But there was a few, and they were like all in the exact same pose too, like that, which is kind of interesting. But they were done in different styles. Very cool. This is the second place one. There you go.
Ah, right.
Interesting.
This Astray with like these kind of like feathers and things floating around. I don't know. Wasn't really too into it.
Who did the judging, Zach?
Kawaguchi was there, so he was one of the judges. I'm not sure who the other judges were. Here's the spinning one, the one that won first place. So yeah, this one was really well done, but I just think it just didn't need the spinning gimmick to it. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow.
It still would have been cool just as a static pose.
There's the second place one. There you go. Like I said, the diorama, the scene is just very flat. There's not really much going on there.
So this won second place?
Third place, sorry.
Third place, okay. But still, wow.
It's cool. Like I said, I like the mobile suits on their own.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Huh. I would expect, I don't know, the respect due to building a XAML, because that's awesome. But it's not necessarily something stylistically that I would expect as a third place winner, you know?
Yeah, so I wonder about that, really.
Interesting. There had to be something else that set it over the top. I don't know.
When I was talking to Alex about this, he didn't like the fact that the GPO2 is like not weathered at all. And what I chalked that up to is that I'm assuming that he was going for like recreating the scene from the anime, sort of. And at that point, like the GPO2 had just been stolen. It's like brand new. So
gotcha.
That's what I had figured. But yeah, it did look a bit odd that we have like this scene, which is, I mean, it's a lot of dirt here.
Yeah.
The XAML at least looks a little bit dirty. But the GPO2 looks very clean. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just from that picture, the Zamo looks pretty nice. So I don't know.
That one was very silly, interesting. It wasn't really very well made, but it is a very interesting
Yeah, but
build.
that's okay. I mean, you enter something that, you want people to see, and, it is what it is. It's the fun of entering sometimes,
This one was one of the top entries, I think, in not the open like main course though.
Well, like Open A?
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
So dip.
It was pretty cool, except that it had undone seam lines. So like, if you're gonna go
Never
to all
liked
the
to see
work
that.
and
Yeah.
then not take care of the seam lines, that's just kind of disappointing. You see, like right there down the middle of the front of the foot.
Yeah.
Is that mega size?
Yeah, yeah, so very big, and yeah, I can attest the seam lines of the mega size are a pain in the ass because they're huge. But if you're gonna, I mean, if you're doing GBWC, you got to do it right.
Yeah, definitely.
This one was well done. I think this was using a PG Zaku, and then modified it to make it the Goof custom.
I like that.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Man, that's very cool. I'm surprised that didn't play. I actually didn't realize that was a PG.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, and the detail on it was really nicely done.
It looks great.
Yeah, it really does. I bet he was gutted.
That's a shame. This one was just really, really good, just as a model.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just unfortunately the kind of thing that doesn't really get selected in GBWC.
Yeah. And
But
that's a
this was
shame.
really good. Yeah.
I mean, I feel there's a bit too much going on in the scene, but just the overall attention to detail and the storytelling and everything behind it, man, it's just so nice.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this build, even up on like these higher levels up there.
Yeah,
stuff to look at. So there's a lot.
I didn't see that one. That's the first time I've seen it.
It's very cool.
It's really nice. Yeah, I've seen some close-ups of this one, and yeah, this one's legit.
There was another one too that had like it's that one. It's fun.
Nice.
I'm not sure if there's going to be a photo. I actually liked. I mean, I liked this as an entry because I think it's really well done. The subject matter of it being like a monster is something that I'm just kind of tired of, to be honest. People turning like the mobile suits into some kind of weird monster things.
Yeah.
But this was really well done, technically. Like it looked nice. You had the figure, I think it was probably like 120 scale or something. And I don't know what that's from, but it was there, just the figure of the girl, and then like just his craftsmanship turning the Nightingale into this monster thing. It was well done. So I liked that one for that reason.
Nice. Very cool. Hey, Bedazzled.
There you go. Here's another shot of that Ghost where you can see the clear part.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea for the shield, yeah. For the kind of heads-up display on that.
Yeah.
This one was pretty nice as well. It's dumb.
It's hard to tell from that photo, though.
Yeah, the lighting wasn't good. So that's why I was saying the lower shelf, the lighting was really not good.
That's pretty bad, to be honest. Like that can really make or break your model.
Absolutely.
For sure. There's a lot. This one was really nice as well. Just as a model kit, it's obviously you can assume it's not going to win GBWC just because, like we said, this kind of stuff just doesn't get selected. But it was really, really good. I like this a lot. It's another nice mega size. Colors are really nice. The modifications were simple, but really cool to look at.
Very clean.
Very. Just reshaped the chest a little bit. Changed up the front skirt a little bit here as well. Made it a little bit more angular.
I dig it.
That was probably one of my favorites. There were some funny, goofy ones like this.
It's the fun of entering, man.
That one was very nice. The Full Armor Thunderbolt. This one I liked a lot as well.
What's that, Aaron?
I was just going to say, how many Open B entries were there, Zach?
I'm not sure. Alex may know, or someone else in the chat may know. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. This one was really nice, though, as well. Really well done.
Is that a master grade?
Yeah, it's the master grade, just Gym Sniper 2.
Nice.
But obviously customized. So it's got the White Dingo shield, so maybe he used that kit. That was the P-Bandai kit.
And what are the fans scratch built?
I guess so. Yeah. Seems so.
They might be from that Hardgraph hover bike.
Yeah, that's a good point. That could be. I'm not sure. I think those are smaller though. I mean, this is 1/100 scale, so that's probably like 2 inches across.
Yeah.
That hover bike I don't think is that big. But
okay. I've never seen it in person, so I don't know. But that's just stylistically, that's what it kind of looks like to me.
A computer fan or something.
Yeah.
That could be too. Actually, one of the junior category winners was using a big computer fan in it.
Nice.
It was very obvious. Under there, the Sasbi, that was another one of the winners. You can see. I don't know if there's going to be a photo of that. Yeah, this one. This was one of the Open A course winners, I think, if I remember correctly.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting looking. I mean, it's got the Gundam paint scheme, and it's got some GPO2 shoulders tacked onto it, the bazooka, obviously, and see a bunch of kind of mishmash decals, though. You see Amuro's A there on the skirt, and not sure what that is on the forearm, but it just from here. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, it looks like a orange Anaheim logo.
Man, that was open. Was he Open A, Zach?
That was, I think, 2nd or 3rd place in Open A, I think.
Wow.
Like 15 to 20-year-old category, I think it was.
Future winner.
This was a really cool idea. I really liked the idea of this one. It just, technically, I think a lot more could have been done with it. But I really
execution just kind of fell on it. I
enjoyed the idea of it.
It's similar to that one where they converted like the whole model was like an apartment building. Have you seen that one? That's done the rounds recently.
I'm not sure actually.
I haven't seen that. That sounds interesting.
They basically built into the RX-78. Like the RX-78 sort of standing there, and it's got, you know, the floors are built into it, and the shoulders are like outdoor decks. And
yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it is.
What's that? This one is kind of gimmicky. But, painting was the winner for Open A, I think it was, if I remember correctly. Alex,
pretty cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. Oh, I guess you can see. It should show that on the bottom, or maybe junior. I don't remember. Junior, yeah. Alex is saying junior. Sorry, it was junior.
Wow.
So,
jeez.
Yeah. I remember the kid was young. Couldn't remember how young, but yeah, pretty cool.
Junior builders get serious, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. This I really like the rocks on this looked nice. The shape of the diorama was cool.
It's a monster build, though.
Mm-hmm. Again, though, the lighting in the cabinet really just sort of that. I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very unfortunate.
That's a tough break for those on the bottom there.
Mm-hmm. That's why you gotta get there early, I guess.
Yeah, right. Man.
So
very cool. So do you think you're gonna enter again?
Well, as I said in my video I put out a couple days ago, I'm not sure, just because I went up alone. So I left my wife here with our 2 kids by herself, and it was hard for her, and I think she won't agree to that again. So, and Yeah, and it's just time consuming and expensive to have to go up and back to Seoul twice.
Yeah,
Uh,
that whole setup and everything.
so
That's kind of rough.
yeah, it's a hassle. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. It was fun,
Gotcha.
and I know like the feedback that I got was from doing like the work in progress videos and everything. People really enjoyed that, like
Right.
just in terms of the videos here on my channel. So I know it makes for good content on YouTube as
Sure.
well.
Yeah,
Sure. Sure.
it did.
We'll enjoy watching about that.
Very cool.
So we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, man, as long as you had a good time, that's what matters, you know? So
yeah,
it was a good experience from what it looks like, at least.
indeed.
Cool.
And I think shipping is going to be very hard, and I'm going to be very worried about shipping of it. But I am planning on selling the build. So anybody watching, if you're
Oh,
interested in buying that, uh, just let me know.
wow.
I would like
Heads
to
up,
sell it.
everybody.
It's just going to be a real pain in the ass to have to try to pack that. I think I'm going to have to like build a cardboard structure to keep the base like stationary in the center, and plus it's quite heavy. So
Wow.
I don't know. It's going to cost a bit for the shipping of that.
I'm sure
But
somebody out there will buy it.
we'll see. Yeah,
Nice.
hopefully.
That's awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, thanks for your report. Appreciate that.
Sure thing.
Man, Aaron, you're gonna have such a great time in Japan, dude. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, agreed.
Can't wait.
Once you if they're still using the same hotel that we stayed at in 2016, it's literally right down the road from Diver City. It's about a 10-minute walk
Okay.
over
Cool.
just beautiful bridges. There's a university, there's other amazing hotels, shops, kind of lining down. There's like a garden path as well. I mean, it's just an amazing walk. Just get down there, and then coming up on Diver City from the hotel, you start to get glimpses of the
Mhm.
of the head of the Gundam. And obviously I saw the original, but it'll be the unicorn for you. So you'll just start seeing the V fin peeking out, and then the head, and then the rest of it, and then you're just going to be like, oh my god, there it is, right?
Yeah.
And dude, just relish every second of that because it's so much fun, man.
No, it's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. It's
Yeah,
good. It's good too. I'm looking forward to meeting all the other people too, and making friends and whatnot with sort of other builders around the world. So it's
well,
kind of
that's
good.
going to be a definite. You're going to
Yeah,
have
of
so
course.
much fun with them. And like I said, that Saturday is so kind of regimented. So everybody meets at like I think like 8 o'clock in the lobby, bus to the venue, set up, judging, and then they'll kind of have you guys do stuff while they're judging and everything, and then back in for the ceremony.
Yeah.
And then after that, at least what we did was we went shopping in Akihabara for a little bit, and then back to the hotel for this big kind of banquet dinner type of thing. And that is so much fun, man. I mean, you get there and you just the food is amazing. The good times and everything with everybody, there's no beating it. So yeah, I have no doubt you're gonna have a blast, dude.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. Actually, it's
It's
going to
gonna
be
be
awesome.
awesome. It is gonna be awesome. So
Cool.
good times, good times. Well, hey, thank you again, brother. I know it's late for you right now. It's past 1 in the morning, so thank you for staying up with us and
Thank you.
talking Gunpla and all that. We really appreciate it. And man, anytime you want to pop on, just let us know, and we'll be happy to have you back. So
Oh, definitely, it's been great. I'd love to come on
awesome.
again.
Awesome. So, all right. So let's
Indeed.
wrap this up with some plugs. Finish it out. First, I want to talk real quick about the Gunpla Talk fundraiser. Make sure you go to that. Make sure if you can donate some money to a really good cause, the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. You can win a perfect grade ASTRAE red frame for your efforts. And we understand that not everybody is going to be in the position to donate. We get it. But if you could do us a favor, get the word out, spread it amongst the masses with a share, or a post or a video or what have you. Help us out, and just we're trying to give to a really good cause. And like I said, one lucky winner is going to win a kick-ass model. So Gunpla Talk fundraiser. The URL is GoFundMe.com/Gunpla Talk. You can find it on the Gunpla Talk Facebook page. I know all of us have shared it on our individual social medias and things like that. So should be easy to find. Hopefully, Alex, if you can post the link to that in the chat. I know, Zach, you said you were going to put it in the description a little bit later.
It's in there now.
Oh, it is in there now. Oh, awesome. Well, just check underneath in the description. Yeah. So easy link for that. So, man, it's a good cause. Do what you can. It would be appreciated. Yeah. Hey, real quick for me. I've been streaming the last few weeks, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. U.S. Eastern time. So if you follow me on any like Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, you'll get a notification when I go live. Man, it's a good time. We got a lot of cool people, hit up the chat. Aaron was on there last night for a little bit. We said hi to him. Man, it's a really good time. We go through kind of my thought processes of detailing and building a model, the actual process itself. We just have an overall good time. So check it out if you can. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all the good stuff. Hit up childofmecca.com. Just real quick, Chisel Discipline. If you guys have watched the stream, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is the prototype. This is my new favorite shirt. I really like this. So that might go up into the store here very, very soon. So that's all I got for my plug. Zach, tell us where everybody can find you.
You can find me right here every day. Usually posting
every day.
1 or 2 videos a day. It's been a little bit slow. Like I said, since coming back from GBWC, I've been sick, so I've gotten out like a couple reviews and things. But this is actually my review queue stack here. These kits are all built and ready for review. So there's a few stuff coming out. And yeah, like I said, this one I think will probably be interesting for a lot of people as well. The high-res wing. So this, other than just kind of normal reviews and everything, I don't really have anything on the books in terms of like big work in progress kind of like series. I know people are still waiting for the Tristan. We'll be working on that eventually.
You never hear the end of that thing, do you?
No, but even I think after I finish it, people will still just keep it up. Though people will still just keep it up as a meme at that point,
sure,
even once it's done. So, that's pretty much it. But yeah, you can follow me on other places too. My Facebook page and Instagram are kind of the main ones. I'm on Twitter as well, but I kind of just basically use that for just looking at other people's work. Don't really share much there. Instagram is a good way to keep up with what I've got coming up on YouTube, because I usually post photos of what I've just built there before I actually post the videos on YouTube. So if you want to know what's coming up on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, and Facebook I use just for everything else. So
awesome.
Follow away.
What's the subscriber count? Give us an update.
It's got to be almost to 80K if it's not there yet.
79 is what I'm seeing on the
the
YouTube.
Yeah, so almost to 80K.
Dude, 21 away from the magic number, right?
Yeah, don't think I'll hit it this year unless something happens that I get like a huge boost in subscribers. But as long as it follows the current trend, I won't hit it this year. But early next year, that'd be cool.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Aaron, tell everybody where everybody can find you.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and that's it.
That's the only two.
That's the only two.
Oh man, but that's okay though, because they're definitely quality follows. So go hit them up on Facebook and Instagram, definitely. So
or weathered as.
Yes. And then obviously people will be able to see you in Japan in December.
Yeah. I guess that's going to be, there'll be a lot of footage broadcast and whatnot from there. There usually is. So yeah, hopefully I can post a lot of stuff and keep everyone up to date on the day and whatnot.
Awesome. Yeah, take lots of pictures, man. Make lots of memories.
Yeah, it depends if Ryan's going. If Ryan's going, then there'll be constant live streams.
Oh, yeah, right. Can I get a hell yeah all the time, right? That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, dude, thank you again so much for being on the show. We really appreciate that you're taking your time out of your day. I know it's 1:30 there in the morning, so you probably got to get to bed. I got to go mow the lawn. Fun times. But hey, guys, real quick, check us next time on Gunpla Talk. We'll be back next month. Keep an eye out on the Gunpla Talk Facebook page for news of when that will happen. And man, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for everybody in the chat. It's been a great time, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks to Alex for moderating as well.
Yeah, thank you to Alex, by the way. Yeah. Thank you for modding. Awesome. All right, guys. See you next time.
Bye.